Welcome back to the Good But Not Soft podcast. I am joined I'm joined by Ben today, and it's going to be the two of us, but it should be a good conversation. We are very good at two-person conversations because we've had experience for the last, 19 years. No, 18 years. I don't think I was conversating much for that first year.
Yeah, probably just jabbering.
Yeah, I could make noise. That was for sure.
You still can make a lot of noise. Anyways, we are recording this one, the two of us. It's been a couple weeks, and we need an episode to go out. So we are both sick right now. Say something profound.
We're here, and we're about to make history.
Josh, you have started taking EMT classes.
Yes, I have.
How's that going?
It is going well. So far. I haven't failed yet. So
Well, that's good.
yes,
That's kind of ideal.
it is ideal.
So, what is your favorite thing that you've learned so far?
Favorite thing that I've learned so far. I don't really know that I have a favorite thing that I've learned so far. It's not really something I'd choose a favorite. Probably the most useful thing is going to be probably proper use of administration of CPR. Probably going to be the most used thing I've learned.
Yeah.
Let's
Say CPR is definitely an important part of being an EMT.
very much so.
So, what is your favorite part of class?
My
so far?
favorite part of class so far. Yes.
School.
It is school, and it is a lot. It's 4 hours of big words, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Except for whenever we learned CPR, they pulled out that high quality studying material known as The Office. That was included in our lecture on CPR was the Office video on CPR. That was
It is
it is-
something.
Yeah. I don't know why that was necessary, but they decided to throw that in there.
How not to do CPR is what that is.
Pretty much. Did everything wrong.
Yeah. So, you looking forward to working on an ambulance?
Somewhat not, Looking forward to being able to do some fun things, but not necessarily looking forward to sitting on the ambulance for 12 hours and eating gas station food,
Come on now. It's the best part.
The gas station food, man,
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting fat already. Tell you, every time I walk into a gas station, those Hostess donuts, probably going to be calling my name. It's going to be hard.
I was just, going in and buying boxes of hot tamales and energy drinks.
Well, you're going to die.
Several energy drinks a night.
I think I'm out on the energy drinks.
When you're working 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and then get one day off and then go work at 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., you need it.
Minor details.
Especially when you're working, a couple dozen calls.
Couple dozen. That's all you made? A couple dozen? Man.
I mean, in a night when you're pushing.
Slacker.
The one night, I think it was like 20-somethings where I stopped counting. It was a lot of calls. It was, yeah.
That's out here that's impressive. If you're working for medical service out here, because it's like probably about 15 minutes to a hospital on like every call. So
Yeah.
if you're working 12 hours and you've got about 30 minutes a call tied up in a call, it's impressive to, get away with 20 calls.
I'll say whenever I was doing it out here, we had the one day like a 2-hour transfer.
Exciting.
It took like picking up the person, not including driving there or driving back. It was just, getting them loaded into the bus, driving to the place, and then unloading them was over 2 hours.
It's impressive.
Yes. Because we were taking them all the way out into the city.
Yeah.
And so, too much fun.
What is the worst thing you've encountered in your EMS career?
Nasty smells.
Nasty
Not all
smells.
of them bother me, but there are some that are pretty much awful. And vomiting. Blood doesn't bother me at all.
Honestly,
severe trauma incidents and stuff.
For
like
me,
nothing.
it's probably been the places you find people. It's just like, I don't really want to touch anything around here. Like, you feel like all your clothes should be burned and like,
not a problem.
oh yeah, totally.
I think the part I'm most excited for you to get to is probably the childbirth stuff.
Oh, yippee.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah, I mean,
They
could
bring
have
out-
I could have experienced Ben. It could, end up on a childbirth call before then.
You could, most likely not.
Even if I did, I most likely wouldn't be delivering a kid.
I'll say they bring out these giant crates with dummies in them that simulate childbirth.
Oh yeah,
It's messy and just a lot.
just a lot, a whole
It's
lot
like
of
me.
disgustingness.
It's just freaking messy for in-class work. Most of the in-class stuff, you don't get too dirty. Might get a little bit of fake blood or something. Red dye, water.
I'll say I think I ended up with some water on me just whenever they were playing with the suction devices. So I mean,
At least hope it's water.
there is that. I'm pretty sure it was water because pretty sure I know where they got it. So
Yeah.
not super excited for the NREMT just because I don't know how well I'm going to do on it, because so far, like in their exams and everything, I did really well because they literally asked the same questions
Oh, yeah.
from the, at homework and everything you do. So it's literally like I, can read the question and be like, oh yeah, I remember this one. Just click the answer. And I'm afraid on the NREMT, because it's not the exact same questions, it might be
Pretty much.
might be a little bit more difficult, because I'm actually going to have to like pull that knowledge out instead of being like, oh yeah, I remember the exact answer to that question.
Yeah.
And so, but we've got a couple months left to the NREMT, so hopefully they teach me a few more things before then.
No, definitely. Now, you are working your EMT, but you've been on a volunteer fire department for a little over a year now.
Yes. I actually was looking at my paperwork today, and they say that I've been on there for over 2 years, and I have no idea what happened there, but it's not. It's a little over a year.
I say it should just be over a year.
And by a little, I mean like we're like what?
6-8 months.
Yeah,
6 months over.
We're getting close to
Year and a half.
getting close to 2 years, but
Yeah.
it's just a little bit over a year.
And so, up to this point, you haven't had, a lot of professional, medical training.
Yeah.
But you still have got to run some, medical calls and stuff.
Yeah.
So
You gotta do a few things.
it is fun.
I've
to
killed all the people. No, not really.
Can't say that on YouTube.
I think only one person died, and that was not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
They were going anyways. So for talking about your medical stories, according to HIPAA, you're not allowed to do anything that's like identifiable, including your patient's health. So like if they break their leg, and like if you come back a few months later and say, yeah, I had a patient who broke their leg, in theory, they're no longer identifiable because that's no longer their health. So what do you do about dead people? Are you just not allowed to talk about them?
You can
Because
say
I
things
don't
like
think
you had a dead patient, but you can't.
I don't think their health changed. I think they're still dead. So I mean, anyone?
It's more like medical history and stuff that can be descriptive of like, oh, this person had such and such and such and such, like a very detailed, specific list, and then that becomes identifiable. Of like,
yeah, they say
they had this funky rare disease, and this one, it's like, oh, and this thing, only 3,000 people have ever had it. That becomes,
They say
it
not
starts
to say anything that would be like patient identifiable to a patient. So if you say like they have a scar on their, the back of their right hand, then be like
kind of iffy.
That's kind of, you can kind of track down,
but
more by that.
Basically,
as if
you can go in and talk about.
If you say like someone broke their arm, there's such a large pool of just like,
Yeah.
everyone who's broken their arm, you
can't tell like the exact location of their house and stuff like that. Their name.
That's, we went on Billy Sue and, she lives over on Hickory Drive over there.
Yeah.
I don't know why I turned into a hillbilly there for a second. Those hillbilly EMTs are the worst ones for giving out personal information. No idea what was up with that. Just went over medical terminology. That's so much fun. You get to go over all the root words, prefixes, suffixes. You remember? Do you remember any of that?
Most of it. Most of the ones that I learned. There's a large list outside of the list that they make you go over.
We're playing Jeopardy at the end of class. In the class. And the bonus round question was, what is the suffix for the procedure in which they puncture the sac around your heart? It's like, you expect me to remember that? I had a list of like 50 suffixes. You want me to read and memorize all of them?
And again, that's just a small list.
That's a very small list.
There are far more.
It's actually like semitesis or tasis. I think it's tasis. Something like that. I wrote down, because that was in one of our questions. So like me and another guy on our team were like, man, I can see it. Like I can see it in my head, but like couldn't. I wrote down like TESIS. I got like the last half of the word of the suffix, and that was not it. No.
Yeah. And so it's not terrible. All those things aren't.
Not looking forward to what is it? The thing. Pharmacology. There we go.
Oh.
I'm not looking forward to pharmacology. I have a feeling it's going to be about the same amount of fun as the terminology. It's going to be...
I enjoyed terminology more than pharmacology.
It's just going to be things that you have to... You like either remember it or you don't remember it is what I feel like that is. Whereas like...
They're going to teach you a bunch of different types of meds.
Some other... Like a lot of the other stuff you can kind of like piece together with other information.
And they're going to teach you a bunch of the meds. And then they're going to teach you all the doses and the indications and contraindications for each of those. And they're going to have you figure out what companies make them and what the generic brand is. And then you got to remember all of it.
Super exciting. So much fun. Yeah. That's like with, human anatomy and stuff. You can kind of like, I can remember like the bones of the hands because it's the carpals and the metacarpals. It's like, may not remember this one, but if I think about it, I'll be like, oh yeah, carpals, like carpal tunnel.
Yep.
And then it's like, yeah, it's the metacarpals. It's and that's just like, you either know it or you don't know it. Like,
if you don't know it, you don't pass.
And there's no like semitesis. That's it gives you no help.
So, yeah, it's a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
And then you plan to try to get onto a fire department.
Yes, that is the goal.
Do you have anyone in particular you're specifically trying for, or?
Not necessarily. Probably, ideally, would be like Oklahoma, just because they have Oklahoma City. Yeah, they have the largest call volume and I think the largest area. Oklahoma City's technically the city limits is massive.
Yeah.
So for me, I enjoy all the craziness. So if I was to get on like Oklahoma City, and then became like they call it ropes certified.
Mm-hmm.
I got, I think it's up to like 4. I think there's like ropes 1, 2, 3, and 4 or something like that. If I had like ropes 4, then I'd if someone's fallen off a cliff, don't have a whole lot of those here, but
so not really.
they'd call in the specialists.
Buildings you would get.
Yeah, they'd call in like the specialists, the guys who are trained in ropes, and so if I can be out in the country of Oklahoma City, because it's such a large footprint, and then there could be someone falling off of a building, like a window washer who gets stranded, and they'd call in me to go help with it potentially if they need
Probably not.
ropes certified people.
You gotta be in that area.
I'm saying like if you're on duty and they have like those, same with like if you're like water rescue certified, if you became like all of that and they were looking for someone in the water, you could potentially get called in. And Oklahoma City's going to have that largest footprint, which means the largest possibility to get called in for that search and rescue, etc. Have the largest possibility, I feel like.
Yeah. They're one of the top, I'm trying to remember. They're one of the highest call volumes in the country. I know that.
But I mean, they have.
It's not first. It's second. I can't remember.
I think I looked at it the other. I looked at it the other day, and they're like thousands of calls a year, but they've got hundreds of stations. So it's not.
It's more than thousands.
It's not. Well, I think it's like tens of thousands, if I'm not mistaken. So, but they've got hundreds of, or at least 100, like 170 or something stations. So if you divide it up between all the stations, it's not as crazy as it seems, because you're largely going to be, each station's basically going to be operating like its own department in the day-to-day. And so thousands of calls doesn't mean you're going on hundreds of calls each day. It's a couple calls a day. Nothing crazy. But that would be ideally the goal, would be like Oklahoma City.
So what has been one of your most exciting calls so far?
One of my most exciting calls so far? Probably one of my most exciting calls would have been one of my, not first, but within, the first couple months of being on the department. So, it would have been closer to the beginning. I had been on a few calls before it, but it would have been closer to the beginning. Was head-on collision between, what are they, like Jeep?
It was like a Compass or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and a Charger.
And Charger. Head-on collision. It really weird, like, craziness that happens whenever you have collisions like that. The back glass of the Charger literally got thrown out of the car.
Yeah.
I have no idea how the physics
came out as a piece
work like that, but it just went, like boop out the car. It was
equal and opposite reaction.
Sitting on the side of the road, like
the hit, and it just, all that energy transfers into the weakest point that's easy to fly, and that point just went whoo, went flying.
But I mean, like,
and then the tint holds it together.
I think they call it butyl. I think like the thing's just like tar, like glued into there. Yeah.
Well, usually
it's just like
what happens is it rips,
popped it out.
It shatters the glass. As the glass is shattered, but it's still held together by the
tint.
The tint. So what happens is that the glass shatters, and then all the stuff that's glued on pretty much stays, and then the rest of it pops
It's
out.
actually a problem whenever it comes to like rescuing someone out of a vehicle. Is you can like break the glass, and then you'll have to like go get a hammer or something,
Like rip it.
and like I want to say you just have to like shove it into the vehicle because the tint's on the outside. So like if you try and pull it out, it like is rigid against the
They have a special cutter.
tint, and so you have to like shove it into the vehicle.
It's kind of nice. It's for cutting glass. I think it goes on a drill. I think kind of like.
Can't say that I've seen that one.
We have a with that sheet. Like we have a sheet metal cutter that goes on a drill.
Mm-hmm.
It's just basically a giant pair of scissors that cut. And so they have a special cutter for cutting glass. And I don't know how I feel about it.
You don't know how you feel about it?
I don't love it.
I say we've got a.
It's slower than just ripping the glass out.
We got
and
a,
it just sends it just turns it on to really fine dust and just sends dust everywhere where it cuts.
We got a massive battery powered spreader bar. Spreader bar. I think they call it spreader bar. I don't know why they call it a bar. Anyways, massive, battery powered spreader bar. Just make things happen. I feel like we don't need no glass cutter.
I mean,
we
problem is
don't
you gotta watch out for the
use
person in the
finesse
vehicle.
techniques.
You gotta be careful of the person in there.
Yeah,
It's like if it's the driver, then you need to come through at the very least to the passenger side, if not further back.
If possible. I mean, obviously it could be. But with like a spreader tool, you just blow the door off of there, if, as long as, once again, if, possible. If it's not like pinned up against a wall or tree,
Well, then you have to go against the other side anyways.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
In the water. Can't say. I've heard of that happening recently.
Oh, a car against a water.
Yeah, like submerging a car. I feel like that's a pretty rare phenomenon. I don't think that happens.
Not really, but most of them are not found until way later, so it's not a rescue effort.
I guess that's true.
I mean, it's not happening just constantly, but I mean, it's not uncommon that someone goes off and gets stuck and aren't found until it's too late. So that's kind of why you don't get as many water rescues.
Yeah.
As many.
It's still possible.
Oh,
It could happen.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's super fun.
Yeah.
It's been probably at this point got hundreds of calls. There for a minute, I was on the department. We were running calls about every day. So
Yeah.
Small volunteer fire department. I think we average almost a call a day. And that's like one day we ran.
That day,
Was it
that car wreck, it was 8.
8 calls, in one night. Actually, we ran two calls that morning or afternoon.
Yeah.
That I actually went on.
That's part of the 8.
Oh, that is part of the 8? I
Yeah.
thought we ran more.
Well, because we had 3 separate calls for one location. Because it was
I see.
a storm or whatever, and power lines went down and caused fires.
So yeah, we got 8 calls in one evening, but there for a minute we were like pretty consistently just like 1 call a day, and so I was able to rack up a few calls right there. So might not be in the hundreds, be probably in the three digits now though.
That'd be
Probably
hundreds.
Would it be
3 digits.
if you're at 101? Is that hundreds?
That'd be 3 digits.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah, it'd be in the hundreds.
Oh, I feel
Maybe
like
800.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it might be at like 117.
Yeah.
So I feel like hundreds.
It's over 100.
Hundreds sounds a little bit more inflated than what I may have actually done. But I feel like we're 100 plus.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Too much fun.
Yeah. You were on the department for how long?
Just over 3 years.
Just over 3 years. Yeah.
And then I'll probably, once things settle down and I'm not working Colorado so much, and traveling back and forth. They'll probably rejoin, get back on.
Yeah.
But
Once you're, married and settled down.
something like that. Or she may not want me to.
Oh, no, that's not a problem. Tell her you need to and you should.
Yeah.
Investing in the community and all that.
Yeah, exactly. But
It's your duty, man. She can't tell you what to do anyways.
sure.
I know.
Watch this.
Know all about that. You gotta put your woman in her place, man.
Oh, sure.
Get it started off right.
Put her. Yeah, like you did. Put her right in her place of authority.
Oh, yeah, on her pedestal.
She needs a pedestal. She can be eye level with you.
I felt like that was coming as soon as I said pedestal. She's not that short. She's like a whole 5'2". It's only like,
Over a foot difference.
I would say only like a foot shorter than, most of us and most of us guys in, our family. I think, my sister's 5'11". So, I mean, I guess even compared to some of the girls, she's kind of a little bit on the short side.
A lot bit.
A lot bit.
Oh, man. Well, before he gets into more trouble for calling his wife
I
short.
can say whatever I want. Besides, I can just make sure she doesn't see this video. It's problem solved.
Probably doesn't watch it anyways.
Probably not. She gets fed up with me at home. Why would she watch the podcast?
Mm-hmm. So before he gets into more trouble, I think we're gonna
Before I lose my voice entirely.
We're gonna go ahead and end this episode.
Wrap it up. Let's get out of here.
Let us know down in the comments what you want us to talk about.
Vitamin C.
Yeah. What do you want us to talk
I'm
about?
gonna talk over you the whole time.
And for future podcasts, we have topics and aren't just completely winging it.
Oh, we can wing it. It'll be, if we have topics, it'll be better than this. So, if you want better content, give us some topics to work with, Think that pretty well wraps it up for us. If you stuck with us this long, you should probably hit the subscribe button because apparently you like our content. So go ahead and do us a favor and you a favor because you'll see our content by hitting that subscribe button.
Yeah, and if you stuck around this long, you're like one of the 8% that actually finishes our videos.
We have 8% that finishes. I'm impressed.
I don't even think we have 8%.
I was about to say, I'm
like
impressed we had 8%.
or 5 last I looked.
Videos. I got to be honest, I haven't even watched all our videos, honestly.
Man.
And that's, if I was in all of our videos, that'd be one thing. But even the videos I wasn't in, I haven't watched all of them.
Anyways, thank y'all for watching.
Yes, thank y'all.
We will catch you on the next one.
Next time.
All right, before we go, what is your good advice?
My good advice. See, good advice means it has to be good advice, and that is difficult. My good advice would be that you can afford more than you think you can. And all you have to do that is cut out some small things.